The 2022 World Series continues. We're joined by Caleb Joseph for some instant analysis. This is Instant Analysis presented by Tylenol Rapid Release Gel Caps. Rapid Release for rapid relief. Caleb, as a former MLB player yourself, the World Series very unique apart from other championship series in that the format for home and away goes 2-3-2. As we head back to Philadelphia for 3 games, is that a benefit for either team, or is there a home field advantage here?
Yeah, I think it's a benefit for the home team, which would obviously be the Astros, if they were able to win the first 2 at home. Now, as we know, they split with the Phillies, and the Phillies are actually taking on a lot of the same characteristics as they did in the San Diego series. Win 1 out of those 2 on the road and then come home and try and run the gauntlet with a 3-game sweep to finish it off. I think it's going to be playing into the hands of the Phillies because they were able to win that 1 game on the road. I don't think it's really an advantage towards the home team that should essentially get 4 out of the 7 games at home, unless you can take care of business with the first 2. And I always found it interesting kind of as a player that you feel like you've done all this work during the season to gain home field advantage. And then there's 3 consecutive games in one spot where, in baseball, they say there's really no momentum shifts, but there really are. And we saw that in the San Diego series with the Phillies, that they kind of got the train on the tracks and they just ran through 3 straight games. Whereas the home team with the advantage only plays 2 in a row at home. I found that a little bit interesting, but it does cut down with travel and days off, et cetera, et cetera. But if the Phillies can get a little momentum like they did in San Diego, I like their chances.
You mentioned it, momentum. We carry that into Philadelphia. The Phillies 5-0 at home in the postseason. First time the World Series has been in Philadelphia since 2009. That place is going to be electric. As a player, let's say you're on the Astros and you're going in there tonight. What's the feeling as Citizens Bank is just loud as could ever be?
Get them on their seats as fast as possible. Take the energy right out of the crowd and keep it that way. You saw the Padres try and do that in a couple of games there. They silenced the crowd. It kind of went quiet for a second, but then the Phillies offense was able to get them back into it. That place is crazy, and I've played there multiple times. It's a top 5 place for me to play, to be honest with you, because of the aesthetics. I like the history of the city there, but I also enjoy just the fans in general. And who doesn't like the Philly fanatic, right? I like that shot, the angle from the third base camera was shooting in on the side profile, and you could see the Philly fanatic in the background raising his hands. It's a great place to play. Those people are crazy. And that little complex they have there in Philadelphia with all 3 sports, people really show up to support their team, and they've got a lot to be proud of so far. But this is not a job finished for the Phillies. They're just getting started, and I'm excited to see how loud and crazy they get here in Game 3.
Now, yeah, you mentioned it. So the Phillies, they may just be getting started. They probably going to have to win at least 2 of the 3 in Philadelphia to really feel like this is an actual series. If they win just 1, can the Phillies make this a series?
It'll be really tough. The hardest thing I think in sports is to win on the road, and especially in the playoffs. And so to give yourself any sort of chance, I really think you've got to win 2 out of the 3 if you're a Phillies fan. And if you're an Astros fan, you just got to try and win 2, right? So take that momentum back home, force the Phillies to win 3 in a row. It's the first to win 4 games. So there's only 5 remaining. The first person to really take hold, I think, is gonna really be the ending champion. But if you're a Phillies fan, you've got to win 2 out of 3. It would be really, really difficult to try and win 2 games on the road in Houston, because that place is probably the second craziest place I've ever played, with the dome closed and the fans going nuts and those rockets going off when they hit homers and the train. I mean, it can get crazy there too. So I like their chances to steal 1 out of 2. They've already proven they could do that. But if they have to win 2 out of 2 on the road, I'm not sure it's a good thing to bet on. So if the Phillies can win 2 out of 3 at home, it sets them up really well. Or they could just win all 3 and call themselves world champions.
It's just that easy. Where's the craziest place that you played?
Toronto in 2016, to be perfectly honest with you. And I'm not saying that just to be a homer. In 2016, I was a visitor during that wild card game, and they had to stop the game. I think there was some alcoholic beverages being thrown on the field. The walk-off win, it was nuts. The place was closed. I'm hoping for another one of those moments in Toronto really soon.
Caleb, we really appreciate this, man. Thanks so much.
You got it.